Can't Scare Me by Ashley Bryan. There once was a boy who knew no fear. He was oh so wild. He'd scare the lions, stamp his feet, a willful, thrillful child. He thought he was so big, so tough, though only 7:30. No one dared to even think of what he'd be like at 11. His parents threw their hands up. They knew they needed aid. That's when they went to Grandma, who told stories in the shade. Grandma clapped her hands and welcomed in the boy. She knew that well-told stories were more soothing than a toy. She told him about a giant, held him close, then told another of a 2-headed giant and his 3-headed brother. Said, they wander home at night. Don't let them ever meet you. If you're outside after dark, they'll catch you and they'll eat you. The little boy laughed. Ha! You can't scare me. I'll escape from any old giant. 1 head, 2, or 3. Early the next morning, with a basket and a hoe, they walked to her fields. They began to hoe a row. The grandson slipped away as soon as he could. He knew that he shouldn't, but he knew that he would. He ran back to a mango tree they'd passed along the route. He climbed among the branches, eating fresh, ripe mango fruit. He ate up all the mangoes. Then he sang and played his flute. Toodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloot. Tonto, Tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. The sun was going down. He had spent a carefree day, but now he missed his granny and got started on his way. He skipped along and played his flute. Toodle-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doot. He bumped into someone. Bong! Brugada, bop! It was a great big giant with 2 heads on top. The giant said, "Oh, little boy, I heard your flute and song. Keep playing. How I love it. I could listen all day long." "My granny told me about you," said the boy. "I have no fears of 2-headed giants and their very many ears." Tonto, Tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. Giant 2-Heads wiggled his 4 ears. "They loved your song," he said. "Now keep on singing. Run along. My brother's just ahead." "Goodbye, 2-Heads. Farewell, 4 ears. Your brother's on this route? Well, I fearlessly welcome giants with my singing and my flute." Then he bumped into the brother. Bong! Brugada, bop! Oh, this giant was much bigger, and with 3 heads set on top. Giant 3 Heads said, "Oh, little boy, I heard your flute and song. Keep playing. How I love it. I could listen all day long." The little boy sang and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doot. Tonto, Tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. Giant 3 Heads laughed out loud, guffawing. Ho, ho, ho! I'd like to hear that song again. Hop up on my big toe. My 6 ears hear much better when you come in close. You say you're not afraid? Or is that just a boast? The boy, to show he had no fear, hopped to the giant's toe. The seated giant tapped his knee, impatient for a show. The little boy sang and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Tonto, tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. The giant laughed. You're not afraid, and so you must agree. 6 ears will hear much better if you hop up on my knee. The boy hopped to the giant's knee and perched there like a bird. He now was so much closer, he was sure he would be heard. He sang his song and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Tonto, tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. Giant Three Heads rubbed his ears and said, I am impressed. You know I'll hear much better if you jump up on my chest. The boy stood on the giant's thigh, then leaped into the air and plopped down on the giant's chest to prove he had no fear. He sang his song and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Tonto, tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. Giant Three Heads flapped 6 ears and tapped him on the back, then snatched him off his burly chest and threw him in a sack. Heading home, sack in hand, he sang the poor boy's song, saying, Tanto dar, tanto tan, tanta bara do da la la ba cha 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 cha. But oh, he got it wrong. The giant massacred the song. The scared boy's ears were ringing. He hoped he'd never hear again such awful off-key singing. Tanta bang, the giant sang. His singing voice was horrible, a rumbling in the air. It terrified the little boy. Aha! He now knew fear. Once home, the giant cried to Jane, who was his household cook. I've brought a boy to fatten up. I've bagged him, Janey, look. She took the boy out from the sack and bid him play and sing, then put him back and closed the sack and tied it with a string. Next day he said to Janey, as she cleared his breakfast plate, I think I'll eat the boy tonight. I just can't wait. Instead of getting fatter, he might be getting thinner. So cook him up for me tonight. I'll eat the lad for dinner. The giant left. Then Janey said, Before I baste and broil you, please play for me your song again. I'm sure that won't spoil you. Open the bag a teeny bit. Fresh air will clear my flute. I'll play and sing, you'll dance and swing to toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Janey opened the bag a bit to free his arms and head. He sang his song and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Janey swung, she swayed, she swirled, she stamped the final beat. Encore, encore, she cried for more. Your music thrills my feet. Open the bag a wee bit more, till it's around my middle. You'll dance upon the tip of your toes, with tippity-tappity-tiddle. Oh, tippity-tappity-tiddle, cried Jane, and she was very sure that if she tied him farther down, he'd still be quite secure. He sang his song and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Tonto, tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories can't scare me. I'm bold, I'm brave, and though I may be small, no many-headed giant scares me at all. Janey tip-tap-toed till dizzy, and still she tapped and spun. So when the boy stopped playing, she cried, "What? You've just begun! Open the bag and let me out. You'll never go to bed. My song will make you turn and twirl. You'll dance upon your head." He sang his song and played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. She shook him out. He looked about. Jane danced upon her crown. Then he ran quickly out the door and left her upside down. Come back, cook," Janey cried. She twirled back to her feet. "If you keep running on like that, you won't be fit to eat." Faster, faster on he ran. He knew he had no choice. And even worse than being cooked, he feared the giant's singing voice. He ran, he ran, he ran. He ran past forests, fields, and farms. He reached his home and dashed indoors, right into Grandma's arms. She didn't push him off or scold. She hugged him and she kissed him. She didn't ask where he'd been, just simply said she missed him. He told her of his close escape, how 3 heads planned to cheat him, but that his singing voice was worse than any threat to eat him. How Grandma laughed. He sang his song while Grandma played his flute. Toot-a-doo-loo-doo-loo-doo-loot. Tonto, tonto, I'm wild and I'm free. Grandma's stories now teach me to be bold and brave, though I may be small, and many-headed giants will scare us all. Dear Grandma, now that I know fear, I will be good. Don't worry. If only you would tell me soon 4-headed giant's story. Snip, snap, snout. Now this tale's told out.